Welcome, Brittany Howard, to the show. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm here in the South. My hair is all frizzy because it's like, I don't know, 10,000 degrees here. So,
Yeah, we're coming towards the end of summer. You guys haven't been hit by
there's
any.
no end.
Yeah, yeah, it gets super hot and muggy there, eh?
Yeah, people actually here sometimes they go swimming on Christmas. There is no end to the summer here. It is summer.
Yeah.
It is
Well,
not
yeah,
that hot.
we're gonna dive a little bit into your story here shortly, and the weather is a big played a big factor in a lot of what you've had to come through and go over in real estate. But I want to start off, telling our audience just a little bit about where you are in your business today.
Okay.
Um, what are your numbers looking like so for 2019? And are you happy where you are? And and what are your big goals for next year?
Right now, I do have a team. There are 8 of us total. We are at 54 units closed. 55 is tomorrow. Pending, we have 12 or 13 units. One of my agents is writing a contract now. And active, we have 11 active listings.
And are you also producing yourself, or are you just
Yes.
managing? You are.
I still produce. I mean, I like the hunt. I'm always a killer. That high D personality is kind of boring if you're not producing. So I actually love producing. And it's funny because I don't produce as high as I used to. So I'm enjoying watching my agents, produce and get the kind of the thrill. It's kind of like an endorphin rush, like when you work out. So
Yeah.
I like the hunt still.
Gotcha. So what would you say, your GCI is looking like for the year?
For the year as a team as a whole, I guess there are two numbers. There's my personal and then their team.
Yeah.
With the team, I think we're at 275, close to 300 GCI. Me personally, I'm probably 150, 170, I think, something like
Yep.
that.
Yeah.
Uh, they have to, like, our average price point here right now is about 140. So I have to produce a huge amount of units in order to hit the same kind of GCI numbers as everybody else in the South, or everybody else everywhere, actually. So,
And your
whatever.
bet in your Baton Rouge, right? Just to be clear.
Yes. Average price point in Baton Rouge is about 226. I work in a slightly more rural area. Average price point here is about 167, 175. But I deal with a lot of investors. So on the front end, it'll drive my price point down a little bit. But on the back end, I have 3 or 4 listings coming up in the 400 plus price point.
Gotcha. So New Orleans has become sort of a hot spot. Are you guys seeing a lot of the feed off, trade off from that, or?
Well, remember, I'm an hour and a half north of New Orleans, so that's not. I don't even have their board, so I don't. I could work there if I want to. I just don't.
But are you seeing a lot of people from there? It's too expensive and they're moving up? No, it's completely
No,
separate. Yep.
no, they stay there. We stay here.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so the reason I got you on the show is multiple people heard about the show that I'm doing. They told me you got to speak to Brittany. She's been through some crazy stuff, yeah, so I really want to hear it in your words. And let's go back to the beginning. I mean, it's not like you grew up poor, right? It seems like you had a good family, you had a good support network, but you went through some really tough times.
Right.
And especially as a young adult, I believe you had a baby fairly early on. You're a single mom. Can we sort of pick up the story potentially at that stage, and when things sort of got really tough for you as a single mom, and how you were able to get through that first sort of hurdle?
I'll speak about both things a little bit. Me growing up and single mom thing, because it'll be important in real estate.
Yep.
So I grew up, my dad, my granddad, I think his dad were all in the roofing and brick masonry business. So I grew up around construction sales my entire life. Moving forward, I was accepted into Vanderbilt on a scholarship. Woohoo, smart girl, haha. Majored in biomedical engineering. Wrong major, trust me. Did not graduate from there. In the interim of me taking a step back from Vanderbilt, I got pregnant with my little boy, who's now a grown man. He started his first day as a freshman in college yesterday. So it's scary. But so I was 20 when I had him. From there, I mean, I struggled. I still finished school at the appropriate time, I think a month early. I went into court reporting school. I think I set a record for the fastest graduate in the history of the school because I refused to let having a little boy stop me from graduating at the right time because I went to Vanderbilt. From there, I moved back to Tennessee, well, back to Memphis where I'm from. Was a court reporter a few years, decided I kind of needed a change of scenery. At the time, I moved every 5 years because I'm a traveling soul. I do not like to sit still ever. But my husband has convinced me I sit still now. So I go from there to move into Louisiana. The important thing about Louisiana is even though I was licensed in 2 states, which was Mississippi and Tennessee, so bordering states, they would not grant reciprocity for my court reporting license. Found that out after I moved here. Stupid me, right? Young. So when they didn't grant reciprocity, it basically cut my income in half. As a court reporter, I think I topped out 67,000, 75,000, somewhere in there. When I was able to find a job, it was about 35,000. And rents here are more expensive than they are at home. So that kind of gave us a struggle. It was very unfortunate because I never made enough money to do anything, but I made too much money to get any help from like the government or the state assistance or anything like that. So making 35,000 a year, paying a car note, paying daycare, and paying rent. So really, I didn't even have any money left to navigate anything.
What age were you roughly when this was happening?
I would have been, let's see, I've been in Louisiana since 2007. I would have been about 26, 27 okay. When that happened. So from there, I struggled like, it was almost, some people, the way I grew up, I never grew up to struggle, if that makes sense. I mean, my dad made millions doing his thing or whatever, his brick mason company and all that good stuff. He died broke. So that's also something that in the back of your head, you're always thinking. Stepdad's very wealthy, mom's wealthy. So in your head, growing up wealthy, you constantly think, I'm a failure, I'm failing. But you look at your little boy and you're like, okay, you gotta push. And that's kind of where I was probably when I met my husband. And from there, we just kind of went forward, I guess. I'm rambling and I will ramble a lot, so stop me.
Yeah, you told me when we spoke before, there was a time where you were like counting quarters or something. And
nickels, yeah.
Counting nickels in order to be able to pay for some food. Talk about that.
So at that time, it was before I met my husband because we met in 2008. Probably early 2008, late 2007. We were, again, I mean, anybody who's ever had to have a paycheck has lived paycheck to paycheck, unfortunately. So I was at that like Wednesday or Thursday, where you have a little bit of money, but not enough money. You know what I mean? Like you're looking at the paycheck, like, come on. So I didn't have enough cash to buy food that day. So I literally was counting nickels at the bottom of my purse in order to feed my son. And I can remember him looking at me, and I remember that moment. I was like, okay, this is too much. This is stopping. So you, pardon my language, you fucked up somewhere, and so fix your fuck up. And that's what I did. And so I've kind of lived to fix my fuck up since then, basically.
So you met your husband not long after this. And how did you get into the real estate game?
So I met Mike. Mike's my husband in 2008. He and we were together. He makes a really, really good income. I was a stay-at-home mom. I was having fun. One of my friends, and I opened a paint company, and we were here with my friend, and we were here in 14 different stores. So I'm just like having this fun, crunchy single mom or crunchy stay-at-home mom thing. One of my friends gives me a call. It was, it had to be sometime in February. And she calls me, she goes, hey, I think you should get in real estate. And I was like, they got like 17,000 real estate agents. Like, why would I do that? The market's oversaturated. She was like, no, I think you'd really be good at this. And I was like, I don't think so. I was like, supply and demand there. I'm telling you now, I have like 1,000 real estate agents who are on my friends list. I don't need why would I be a real estate agent? And she was, well, I made 25,000 last month. I said, selling fucking houses? And she's like, yeah. I said, okay, fuck it. I'm going to do real estate. So I go online. I actually think they probably changed it since then, but I go online, take this class, finish the whole course in 7 days, take my real estate license, pass it, and was like, you know what? I'm gonna make $25,000 a month. So I think that was March 19th. By April 8th, I had Zillow. I converted my first lead April 10th. I mean, I've never not had a month that I didn't have a closing. So within about 6 weeks or so from being licensed, I was closing.
So you were purely working Zillow leads.
Zillow and Commissions Inc.
Okay.
Google PPC is my thing. So.
Yeah, yeah. That was prime time back then, though, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So one of the amazing stats I've heard about you is that you closed, I believe, 52 deals in your first year. Am I correct?
Correct. And so I started in March, and so from March of 2015 until December, I closed 19. In 2016, I closed 52. My goal was to get paid once a week. Should have said twice, but I said once, and I hit it dead on, like 52 units. And that was the year that we did have the big flood that nobody heard about. So yeah, I still don't know kind of how I did it or anything like that. I just remember being so hyper focused on getting a check a week that nothing else really mattered.
And were you were hanging your license with a local broker, or how did you end up getting your own broker's license? I mean, what was the structure?
So in 16, I hung my license with an indie brokerage. I got fired from there August 9th or 10th, I think. I would have capped 2 days later. I flooded 4 days after I got fired.
Hang on, okay. Let's back up a sec. So, how did you get fired?
I'm still a little bitter about that. So,
I mean, it seems like you're an incredible sort of overachiever. Everything you do incredibly well. I'm just curious. How did you get fired?
Because I have a big dick and I'm not afraid to say things.
I can tell that.
I mean, so looking back and being fair, you know, as a former brokerage owner and all this good stuff, and being fair to him. I don't back down if I believe something's right. If I believe something's right, you're going to have to convince me that it's not. And I really will not mince words if I think something's wrong. Period. The end. So I was building a team. A lot of the people from within the brokerage were trying to join my team. I understand now as a brokerage owner, okay, that's taking, you know, an awful lot of income from the brokerage if they're trying to join and be on these half caps now. At the time, I was so new, I didn't understand that. So the only thing I heard was, no. And I'm like, I'm a 1099. You can't tell me no. So I was fired in a voicemail 2 days before I capped. I mean, shit happens. That brokerage is no longer in existence, by the way. So.
Karma. So you got fired. What was your next move?
After I was fired, I guess officially it doesn't look like I was fired, because as soon as I got the voicemail, I went to the board and changed my things immediately. Next move was to finish my kitchen renovation. So I was fired on a Tuesday. Thursday, I would have capped. Friday, I finished my kitchen renovation because I just bought my house. And then that Sunday, I flooded. Right.
So you didn't have a new job yet, or any sales or anything lined up. You basically stopped it with these where you got fired, and you focused on the house. No.
So I always carried at that time about 10 or 15 under contract at any moment. So even though I was fired from there, I still had about 10 closings, probably $25,000 that they still had to pay me without their split. So it was awesome still. So I had those closings lined up and immediately just started working. I think when I flooded, I don't even think I stopped working. It was like, okay, I flooded. Anybody who didn't flood need a house? Like, shit, their house is over there still for sale. And that's kind of how I rolled with it. I think I took maybe 7 days off after I flooded.
So how bad was the flood? I mean, how did that affect you?
So the flood here in my immediate area where I work, I think about 67% or 75% of houses went underwater. So it was pretty devastating. It was very special, fighting with the insurance company and fighting with the government, who didn't really help us because there wasn't a named storm. So we basically got fucked. I mean, not just me, pretty much everyone who flooded got fucked.
Yeah. Yeah, you sent me some photos. So what I'm going to do in the show notes is throw those photos up. I mean, it looked like catastrophic. Like the water was like, how high did it come into the house? I mean, it was.
So I was lucky. In my house, I got 6 inches, 2.5 feet in my garage. Other houses, you're hitting 6 feet, 8 feet, up to the top of stairs sometimes in some houses. It was devastating because where I live now, a lot of people have lived here like their entire lives. And so they're seeing their parents' houses go underwater that never flooded before. Then you're seeing my former house got 4 foot of water. It was in flood zone X. My current house is 2 feet above base flood, and I got 6 inches. So you have that kind of realtor guilt where you just saw somebody in a house, right? And they're loaned out and they're on a hill and they get 4 fucking feet in their house. And you're like, so.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, how did, financially, was that a big hit for you, or you were able to basically just skid right through it and, get insurance, took care of it and move on, or what, how did that affect you?
So I was lucky at that time, probably late June, early July. Michael Hellickson called me because I like Louis Vuitton a lot. I like really nice things. And he said, hey, I'm seeing that you're spending way too much money. You need to slow down. How much do you have in savings? Do you have 6 to 8 months? And I didn't. By the time of the flood, I did have 6 to 8 months in my savings account. So I was able to basically deplete the savings account. And I did have flood insurance, but they didn't reimburse me for anything I spent over. So after that, it wasn't 2016 that I had the issue at all. I mean, I made plenty of income. My husband made income. We were fine then. It was really last quarter of 2017 when the government grant stopped for people who flooded. And at that same time, I was finding out that I wasn't going to be reimbursed for about $60,000 that I'd spent that I was supposed to. So that financially devastated us. I mean, we didn't lose our house, we didn't lose our cars or anything like that, but it was super rough for us.
Yeah. So most of your savings was gone. Yeah.
Not most of it. It was gone.
Wow. And you thought you were going to get reimbursed, but they didn't.
Correct.
So that was kind of a punch in the face.
A little bit. Yeah.
So, the city's getting back on its feet. 2017 is, how's sales going? How's the business getting built?
So what we all noticed is we were still on the upswing, right? There were flooded and gutted houses. What brought my price point down is you're selling $20,000 houses, but they're reselling for like 120, 140, 170, right? Right. So we were number 7 in the country for investors and flippers. So we had all these properties and there was no inventory. And then you had people at the time who had a 580 credit score who can get 100% financing until like the anniversary date of the flood. So you have this influx and all this lack of inventory. And then guess what happened? That grant went away and then inventory went way up. So when inventory went way up, and then you have new construction neighborhoods popping up everywhere. So my sales went from, and then went, like I think I ended up selling personally maybe 6 homes in the last quarter of 2017. So average, but I've never been average. So I was like, what the fuck's happening? So yeah.
Just a crazy market.
It sucked. I mean, it was so much bullshit, like stacked from the freaking time I got fired, stacked up, really until about the beginning of this year. We struggled a lot, trying to play catch up, because if you're anticipating getting $60,000 back, you're like, oh, okay, I can charge this on this credit card because it'll be reimbursed and then I can just pay the card off. That never happened,
So what do you tell yourself mentally? I mean, because it must be very stressful. You do have the family, husband's making some money, but you've always put a lot on your own shoulders, and you must feel like shit. Is it me? Is it the situation? I mean, mentally, what are you doing to get through this?
So I realize now, I'd spoken at Lab Coat Agents 1 in St. Louis, and when I was there, Tristan asked me to give this speech, and the speech was tell your story. And I was like, I don't fucking have a story. I sell houses, and that's my fucking story. And he was like, no, tell why you sell the houses. So going back and writing that speech showed me that I've been depressed probably since about the time I found out I wasn't getting my money back. So from 17 until beginning or end of 18, I was completely in a dark hole. I didn't know it. For anybody that I probably talked to at that time, I'm sorry, I was probably a rabbit bitch and psycho. And looking back, I'm like, ooh, ouch, that was pretty bad. Now, when you realize, okay, you're in a fucked up place, get out. You can't stand this fucked up place. There's way too much riding on it. Your kids. So I have an 18-year-old son. My husband has an 18-year-old daughter, and he has a 16-year-old son. And together we have a 6-year-old now. And so it's kind of like your kids depended on you. You promised them certain things, like promise the big kids, and well, I promised them all, you will never have student loans because I went to Vanderbilt, so I have student loans too. So when that happens and you look back and you're like, look, you make too much fucking money for this shit. Get off your ass and go to work. There is no more, oh, but I flooded, but they wouldn't give me my money back, but I don't have any savings. Who gives a fuck? You counted nickels. You still don't have to count nickels. Get your ass up and go to work. People don't like it when I say that, but it's the truth. I think I said that in a conference once. Somebody asked me something and I was like, okay, I'm going to work.
So basically, your family was your driving force and your motivation, as well as your own personality. Put those two things together.
I don't like to lose. Like for me, they say failure is not an option. Losing, I'm just, that does not sit well with me. It's like, and it doesn't sit well for me to not hit my goals. So you're sitting here and you're like, so many other people have had so much, way more fucked up shit than this. And you're sitting here and you're complaining because you don't have money. Sell a fucking house. So, sell fucking houses.
So, you've got, what do I say? Like big balls, as we say down under.
I wish somebody would send me those big brass balls. That would be so awesome to keep on my desk. So whenever somebody makes me mad, I'm like, this is me. This is you.
Yeah. I mean, I'm interviewing a lot of amazing people. I was thinking of giving out big brass balls to the best stories, the people who have got the biggest balls. I think you're right up there.
Oh my gosh. That's like a fantasy. So let me go back to something. You asked me my driving force and all this good stuff. Last year, year before last, maybe something like that. No, it was after the flood, 2017 or 18. I don't know when. Recently, one of my friends got shot, right? 9 times by an ex. Guess what she did? She was in the hospital bed after being shot. She got her ass up. She went to work. She was in the hospital bed lead generating, right? And so in my mind, well, if you can be in the hospital bed lead generating, and I can walk around and I can get in my car and I don't have to ask for help or ask somebody to drive me anywhere, then I'm about to man the fuck up and do my job. And so it was all kind of, I've surrounded myself with so many amazing people and so many amazing stories. And when I have a bad day, I can call people and they can say, great, you're having a bad day. That's awesome. I always tell the agents on my team when they get discouraged, okay, you got 30 seconds of this bullshit. Go ahead and let it out. Okay, we're done. Let's go. And so I've forgotten that and I've started taking way too many seconds out of my time. So now if I feel bad, you got 30 seconds, get your ass up and go. So 30 seconds I give myself to say, oh, woe is me. After that, it's time to work.
Gotcha. So I've heard a lot about how you've been able to overcome stuff pretty much from your own strong will, your own family. But, real estate is, there's a lot to learn in real estate. I mean, I haven't heard of any mentors or coaching, anyone else who's been guiding you through the process. Did you do all this solo? I mean, who else did you have in the game?
So at first, in 2015, I had YouTube and Gusty Goulas, who's on YouTube, and I love him. He taught me how to convert my first lead inadvertently. And then I called him and said, thank you. And it was super cool. Gusty Goulas, he's in Birmingham and he was on YouTube talking about how he converted Zillow leads. So understand, I was too stupid to know that you're not supposed to buy leads, right? Too dumb to know this. But afterwards, I just kind of jumped in head first. So Tristan Ahumada was probably the first person to take me under his wing. I was going to speak at a Zillow conference. I Facebook messaged he and Nick and was like, hey, help, y'all speak. I've never spoken before. And they gave me pointers and then they followed up and said how'd it go. And this was back, not when Lab Coat Agents was at 100,000, holla. It was like when they were at 3. And so they took me under their wings. From there, I met Michael Hellickson with Club Well. Michael, Cherie, Luigi, Ron Anderson, so many others there took me under their wing there. And I just kind of started meeting people. I mean, Kevin Markarian, he's a huge, if I'm feeling down, Kevin Markarian can bring me up. Period. Like the end. I have nothing else. I can call Kevin and have a sob story. And he's like, but you're still Brittany, bitch. And I'm like, I am, right? So I can still get up from there. Sam Karamian is amazing. Mike Bjorkman, best 60 seconds in an elevator ever. He'll know the story.
Yeah, I got to remember that to tell Mike. It's the 60-second Mike. That's it, Mike, 60 seconds?
And people just die laughing. But I've just been really, really blessed to be around super high producers. Like not, I guess in my area, top, or even in the nation with GCI, I would be, closer to the top. I'm around, like if I'm in 1%, I'm around 0.0001. Like all of my friends are millionaires. And that's also kind of a driving factor going, well, if you're a millionaire, you're a millionaire, you're a millionaire, you're a millionaire, I need to step the fuck up. I need to be a millionaire too. And so it was kind of like that for me, just being surrounded by really, really amazing people.
That's amazing. I mean, it sounds like you went and sorted these people out. You had the gusto, you had, again, the balls to really go after it and not just sit there and feel sorry for yourself. I mean,
it was really only Tristan that I sought out. I did not know that everything that I was doing was different, right? Because Tristan interviewed Amanda Thompson-Todd. Amanda Thompson-Todd gets on there and says she sells 21 million in her first 18 months. I was like, well, fuck, I'm behind. So I always was like, oh, okay, if they can do it, I can. Recently, within the last probably year, I've noticed that I've started to have analysis paralysis, which is the stupidest shit I've ever heard. If y'all got it, y'all, it's me too. But I've had to kind of stop that shit and just get up and go. So now I'm just kind of jumping head first. I'm not thinking about it too much, which was a huge detriment probably for the last 2 years after I lost all my money.
Can you explain the analysis by paralysis? I mean, what was going on?
Let's use my logo, for example. I have talked to y'all about 17 million times, right? Have never pulled the trigger. Explain to me why. It doesn't make any sense to me. Like, I'm like, okay, Brittany, okay, yeah, you're going to do, oh, no. Oh, but what about this? But what about that? But what if you change this? And what if you do this? And what if you, well, I should have just shot the fucking gun. Do you know what I mean? Like, but that's been me recently. It doesn't matter what it is. It's, okay, you need to start doing more videos, start doing Facebook Lives, right? Okay, well, if I do a Facebook Live, then I don't really like my hair right now, so I can't do it. Oh, I don't know how to put on this makeup, so let me go take a makeup class. Oh, okay, I need to buy this makeup, but I hadn't bought it yet, so I'm gonna wait and I'm not gonna do that. Now, I'm gonna throw on a baseball cap and I'm gonna roll with it, right? And so it's just been really, really odd. I also lost about 95 pounds from 17 till now. And I find that the weight loss has made me a little more subconscious, because you're always thinking, okay, great, you lost all this weight. Now all these people are saying all these amazing things, but oh shit, you just gained 5 pounds. So they're gonna notice that you gained 5 pounds. So you need to lose your 5 pounds and then you need to go on video. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah. So a lot of it is confidence, and a lot of it is, yeah, it's just mental strength, right? And awareness. Yeah. So how much, do you have a coach now?
No, not anymore.
No.
My last coach was Cherie Benjamin, who's absolutely flipping amazing and one of my very best friends. I needed to take a break and a step back, because remember, and I've been completely candid with this, a lot of people, I think I've probably said I was broke too much. I'm not like broke, but I needed to take a couple steps back from my finances, because they weren't increasing like they should have, because I was constantly playing catch up from 2017.
Gotcha. So, looking back at your journey, it's a fairly short journey. It haven't been
4 years. I'm a little over 400 years now. Yeah.
I mean, was there anything you would have liked to have done differently, or done sooner rather than later?
One thing, I wouldn't have spent my fucking money on this flooded house. Like, I would have made them come and give me my money, because that one thing kind of set up everything else to be, to be different. Other than that, started coaching faster. Like I wish I would have started coaching in 2015.
Yeah. So getting help earlier, getting
Mhm.
guidance. Um, cool. Cool. Okay. I think we've pretty much covered like a lot of it there.
I
You
know
know,
my entire life.
the other thing I'm curious about, I did hear in another interview that you like to carry a gun.
I mean, I made references to it. Yeah, I carry a 9 millimeter Ruger.
And where did that come from? Is it just due to your, the areas that you work, or is this? I mean, who? I
So,
don't know many realtors who carry, so I'm just
okay, so y'all
curious.
aren't in the South.
Yeah.
Down here, almost everybody I know carries. But understand that my husband, he makes a good income, but he's never home. Like he just came back from Valencia, California, or wherever he was up there. He's gone to Saskatchewan, Canada. He's everywhere but home. So it was me, and we've been married. We got married in 2010, I think. And so it was me and little children here all by ourselves. I mean, I could have called a friend or something like that. So it was more of a protection thing because of it's always me and the kids. Then it became, okay, I'm working with these internet leads, right? I know these people sort of, but I don't know these people because I don't ask for pre-approvals up front. But I do mention that I carry and that I shoot and all this good stuff. And I personally never had an issue. And if I did, I'd probably shoot.
So today with your business, are you still mainly internet leads? And I know Zillow's changing their model a bit, but has it affected you, or what are you doing to adjust?
Zillow, I have an ROI. I do not like Zillow. I'm sorry if they're listening. I don't like y'all and y'all fucked my system, which was really, really great. Like my system before Zillow, oh my God, it was so sexy. 8 to 10% conversion, 8 to 10% ROI. When Zillow changed, it dropped in half.
Hmm.
So am I making money? Sure. Do I like Zillow? No. Do not call my leads. Let me call my own leads and know how to do my job, right? Um, so I still have them. Right now, I'm mostly working, I think, a more referral-based system. Me personally, I just hired this company called the Workflow Shop. It's by a mega agent. Her name is Jen. And Jen is like solo. She does about 75 units, 80 units, 100 units by herself. And she has kind of a team of admin. And a lot of her things are referral based. So she kind of built this system to teach other agents how to do it. It was super cost efficient. So I started the workflow shop maybe 3 weeks ago. Since then, I've gotten 4 or 5 referrals from it. And I'm not talking my average price point referrals. I'm talking, 200, 250 plus, even $1 million investor from it. And so I guess I'm at that stage in my career where it's now repeat clients and things like that. Most of my agents work internet leads.
Gotcha, gotcha. And what are you doing? I mean, leverage is a big word these days in real estate. What sort of leverage are you using to help grow your business? I mean,
So I am the automation queen. I love drips. It's something that Howard Tager said last year. It kind of sparked something in me. He said, this isn't a lead, this is a relationship. So and shout out to Howard, it kind of changed the entire trajectory of how I thought after that. Because I kept doing drips for leads, right? It's like, when do you want to buy a house? When do you want to see the house? When, blah, 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 all this bullshit, right? Because I'm focused on a lead. Now I'm focused on building relationships. Hey, I hope you're having a great day. The kids just started in school, go here to shop for whatever, right? Or I hope you can make it to the Antique Festival. It's October 5th. It's going to be amazing. You should come. So now I'm trying to foster the relationship with my potential client instead of trying to convert a lead. And that's probably what happened in that little drip for me too, because I was so kind of almost distraught, even though I wasn't. My focus was fucked up, and I unfucked my focus. I fucked myself, right?
So, if there was a young Brittiny Howard out there today listening to this, she's coming out of college, she's wondering what to do with her life, she's got a lot of ambitions. Would you recommend real estate? I mean,
Dude, I wish I would have been do you understand I spent $100,000 at Vanderbilt? Do you understand I make twice as much right now as I would have as a BME, as a biomedical engineer? I wish when I was 18 years old, I would have gone into real estate. I have always been a salesperson. I mean, sold my first house when I was 12. My mom's best friend, or my best friend's mom. I sold our house to them, right? I wish that I would have understood that you don't have to go to college in order to be a successful person. I didn't want my son to go to college. He wanted to go. I wasn't going to stop him from going. I wanted him to work on his assets, which is I mean, he's a people person. He's his entire life, he's always shaking hands, kiss babies. Instead, he wants to go to college. He's a gamer too, so he's going for gaming and automation. But I just wish that somebody would have said, okay, yes, you're smart, but instead of just being smart and going to college, there are other ways to make a whole lot of money. You don't have to have all these stupid ass student loans.
So last question. I mean, what's the end game for you?
Is that in the end?
I mean, what do you hope to achieve in real estate? I mean, it's not just all about the money. I mean,
Right.
are you trying to build a business to pass on, or are you just, want to work it for the next few years and get out? I mean, are you just trying to build something you can sell? I mean, if you've written down on a napkin where you want to be in 5 years, I mean.
So for me, I forgot to tell something. I talked all about this bad shit that happened after the flood and all this good stuff. But in a Facebook group, somebody mentioned that she wouldn't be able to give her kids Thanksgiving, but she makes sure Santa came, right? That struck me to my core. As somebody who's been hungry and had to count like nickels and things like that, it kind of changed how I wanted my business to look. It was not all about me anymore and me getting money. Now we do one closing per turkey. Our goal this year was to give out 200 turkeys. We are short. And we know we're short. So at our team meeting, we said, look, okay, how many deals are we going to do? Close this shit so we can feed these people. Period. So if you ask me in 5 years where I want it to be, giving out 1,000 turkeys.
And the turkeys go to who?
The less fortunate.
Okay.
It's not an organization. I've tried to work with organizations. It's been weird. I'm trying because they kind of think I'm a part of an organization, and I'm like, no, this is money out of me. I'm giving this. So still kind of looking for the right organization to partner with here. I think I found a few, but just to the less fortunate, the first time I did it, it was to flood victims. And the poor people were coming with these papers and they were like, here's my paperwork showing that I flooded. And I said, I'm sorry, I'm not the government and fuck them anyway. Are you hungry? I'm gonna feed you. Like, I don't need this extra stuff. If you're going to steal a turkey from me, that's more on you than it is on me because you're taking food out of somebody else's mouth. And people were just very thankful. Most of them were people like who I was as a single mom, right? Too much money for assistance, too little money to do anything. And that's been like extremely gratifying for me that I'm using the money that I make from real estate, not only for Louis Vuitton, which I mean, dude, when I say I was flawed in 16 buying all that shit, like what did okay, I have like 7 Louis Vuittons. What do I need with $21,000 worth of purses? Did you understand how flawed, like after the flood, my mindset shifted too, right? And it was kind of like, why would you do that when there are so many people who are struggling in your area? 5 minutes up the street, people are struggling, but wow, you look great with your $3,000 purse. It's fucking stupid. So I don't know. I feel like in 5 years that I'll be able to help a lot of people. And my goal is to year over year help more and more and more and more people.
Gotcha. I love it. So there's so many, I think, really inspiring and motivating messages in this story. So
don't say fuck too much. How about that?
Yeah, we're going to have a tough time editing that out.
So. Oh yeah, you know what?
It's staying. Hey.
Well, yeah, fuck it.
We're both Gary Vaynerchuk fans. So I think it's, you can't fake it. You got to be who you are. And you're very good at that. Yeah.
And the audience, like I'm in the South of the Bible Belt. I'm on stage like, and I probably look like an idiot because what I really want to say is, man, fuck that, blah, blah, blah. And instead I'm like, well, if I were you, oh God. So it's super funny watching me when I can't curse.
Yeah, no, it's refreshing for me. I mean, in New Zealand, a lot of the girls hang out at the rugby club with all the rugby guys, they grow up. So girls have dirty mouths down there. And, when I come to California, I'm like, the girls don't swear. I mean, You know, it was weird. So it's kind of refreshing for me to hear a girl who can just,
And then I feel so like I have to be careful too because people misunderstand intelligence
yeah.
because I just speak, right? And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. Would you like for me to use the Vanderbilt education language or can I just be me, right? Like, don't ever confuse what I'm saying for who I am too, you know, because I will call you on your shit. Like, I really don't care who you are, how you do it. If you cross me, and then I will let you know you crossed me, and I don't have to curse to let you know that.
You know, I think one of the reasons why so many people want to help you and are on your side, and you've got such a big network is because you're so true to yourself and you don't you're not fake. So
No.
it's yeah, just keep doing what you're doing. It's
You
refreshing.
know, when you grow up kind of how I did, I was always the perfect one, right? Great GPA, great ACTs, great all these other freaking scores that didn't really matter to anybody but my parents. And I guess Vanderbilt when I got there. Um, it's refreshing to no longer care what other people think. My husband was a huge driver for that for me because he would say, like, he would see me all the time, kind of cower to people. And he was like, excuse me, okay, you're my wife? No. And he was kind of like, I got you. You know, if you, whatever you need to say to somebody or however you feel, go for it. And so when I say I have a big dick, it's probably my 6 foot 215-pound husband. He's probably my bigger dick. But he's always kind of supported me no matter what I wanted to do, no matter how crazy and outlandish it was. He was always there to say, you know what, go for it. If you want to do it and you think you can, have fun.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's been pretty, like, I've never had that before, that kind of level of, I don't have to worry about what happens because I know that basically he's carrying me, so it doesn't matter. I don't know if he can hear that or not. So,
Well, it sounds
don't
like
tell him that.
sounds like you guys have a great relationship, and
Look, you can't tell him what I said because you know he doesn't need to get the big head. Trust me.
all right. Well, I think we're gonna leave it at that on a high note. A lot of dick jokes. So it was a pleasure. You're
Oh my gosh! And I got a curb. Like, I don't know what the obsession with me and these balls and dicks is. Okay, like it's psychotic almost because I don't have a penis, but I do.
you're
Yeah.
awesome.
One
All
day
right.
one day I'm gonna like have a podcast. I'm not gonna mention my dick.
Yeah. Oh, you're right up there for the potential winner of the big brass balls. I'll keep you posted on that.
Yay! I love winning.
Thanks again, Brittany. You have an awesome day.
You're welcome, honey. Have a good one.
Thank you so much. Cheers. Bye bye.
Bye bye.